My wife secretly saved money to leave me, but I found out everything the night before our anniversary. I used to think that if you loved someone enough, you could survive anything. I believed that for almost 7 years. I believed it every time my wife came home late, every time she brushed me off with a quick excuse, every time I caught a weird look in her eyes when I said something stupidly hopeful about our future. We met when we were just kids, really. I was 22, she was 20. College sweethearts, everyone called us. She was fire, ambitious, driven, the kind of girl who had a 5-year plan mapped out before graduation. I was the quiet one who just wanted a stable life and someone to share it with. Somehow it worked. Or at least it seemed like it did. After college, we moved into a small apartment downtown. Nothing fancy. Mismatched furniture, takeout 3 nights a week, arguments over who left the dishes in the sink. Normal life stuff. When we got married 2 years later, it felt like we had made it. Not rich, not flashy, but we had each other. We were a team, or so I thought. The first few years of marriage were good, honestly. We didn't have a lot, but we were happy. At least I was. She talked about getting her MBA, starting her own consulting firm someday. I supported her. I worked longer hours so she could take night classes. I cut back on my hobbies so we could save. Every sacrifice felt worth it because it was for us. But looking back, there were cracks I ignored. Tiny ones at first. Little moments that should have made me stop and think. Like how she always insisted on managing our money. I didn't mind. She was better at budgeting than me anyway. But she was secretive about it. If I asked questions, she got defensive. I chalked it up to stress. Or how she started locking her phone. Again, I told myself it was no big deal. Everyone deserves privacy, right? Or the way she pulled away from me, emotionally and physically, with vague excuses about work stress or being too tired. I ignored it all. Told myself every couple goes through rough patches. Besides, I had my own issues. Maybe I wasn't attentive enough. Maybe I wasn't exciting anymore. Maybe it was me. I didn't realize how bad it had gotten until a month before our wedding anniversary. It was something stupid. I needed to find an old tax form. She kept all our financial stuff organized in a file box under the bed. She was out running errands, and I thought, no harm, I'll just grab it and put everything back. The box was there, dusty and heavier than I remembered. I opened it, expecting boring old tax documents and bank statements. Instead, I found a second folder, tucked underneath everything else. Hidden. I don't even know what made me open it. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was that sinking feeling I'd been ignoring for months, finally punching me in the gut. Inside the folder were account statements from a bank I didn't recognize. Not our joint account. Not the savings account we had for emergencies. A completely separate account, under her name only. The balances were staggering. Tens of thousands of dollars. Transferred in small, regular amounts over the past 3 years. I sat there on the floor, stunned, flipping through statement after statement. Every month, a little more tucked away. Unnoticed by me because she had convinced me that our finances were tight. That we needed to be careful. That we couldn't afford vacations, couldn't upgrade the car, couldn't move to a bigger place. All that time, she was saving behind my back. For what? The thoughts started racing. Maybe she was planning to surprise me with something. A house, a big vacation? Maybe there was some logical explanation. I wanted to believe that. I needed to believe that. But deep down, I knew. This wasn't a surprise. This wasn't something meant for us. This was an escape fund. And suddenly, everything made sense. The distance. The secrecy. The way she flinched when I talked about our future. She had been planning her exit while I was planning our next anniversary dinner. The worst part? Our anniversary was in 2 days. I didn't confront her that night. I didn't say anything when she came home, humming and carrying groceries like nothing had changed. I didn't say anything when she kissed my cheek absently and started cooking dinner. I sat there staring at her, feeling like a complete fool. How long had I been living with a stranger? How much of our marriage had been real, and how much had been her biding her time until she could walk away? I didn't sleep that night, just lay there staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathing softly beside me, wondering how the hell my life had come to this. And the worst part was knowing that no matter how much I wanted to pretend otherwise, I couldn't unknow what I had found. Something had broken. something I couldn't fix. And deep down, I knew this wasn't the kind of problem we could just talk through. This was the beginning of the end. The next day was torture. I went to work like normal, or at least I tried to. I sat at my desk pretending to type emails while my mind raced in a million directions. Every time my phone buzzed, I jumped. Every time someone said my name, I flinched. It was like my skin didn't fit anymore. I couldn't focus on anything except what I had found. The hidden bank account, the betrayal, the slow, methodical way she had been preparing to leave me while smiling in my face. I kept trying to come up with excuses. Maybe she had a reason. Maybe there was something going on that she was afraid to tell me. Maybe she was sick or scared or needed help. Anything other than what it really was, that she had given up on us a long time ago and just hadn't bothered to tell me. I didn't confront her that night either. Call me a coward, but I wasn't ready. I needed to be sure. I needed proof, even though the truth was already sitting like a rock in my gut. So I started paying closer attention, and the more I watched, the more obvious it became. The way she would light up when she got texts she wouldn't show me. The way she had started planning weekends with friends I had never met. The way she would disappear into the other room to take calls, coming back with fake smiles and flimsy excuses. Every little thing felt like another cut. And I stood there, bleeding out, pretending I didn't notice. The night before our anniversary, everything finally snapped. We had plans for a simple dinner at home. Nothing big, just the two of us. I came home early from work, hoping maybe, just maybe, we could have one more good night before I had to blow up our lives. But she wasn't there. There was a note on the counter. Out with friends. Back later. Love you. Love you. The words felt like acid on my skin. I sat there staring at that stupid note, feeling this cold rage build inside me. It wasn't like her to just disappear the night before our anniversary. Not unless she really didn't give a damn anymore. Something inside me snapped. I grabbed her laptop. It was sitting right there on the coffee table. She never bothered to lock it, probably because she thought I was too stupid or too trusting to look. The truth is, I was both. But not anymore. It didn't take long to find what I was looking for. Emails, hidden folders, chats with someone named Sam. Long, emotional conversations. Not explicitly romantic, at least not yet, but full of talk about starting fresh, about getting out and doing what's right for you. Plans to move into a small apartment she had already put a deposit on, in another city, without me. The moving date was in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. She hadn't just been thinking about leaving. She was leaving. Soon. And I had been completely clueless. I closed the laptop and just sat there, stunned. I felt hollow, like someone had scooped out everything inside me and left nothing but numbness. All those years, all that trust, all the sacrifices I made so she could chase her dreams. And this was how she repaid me. I didn't cry, I didn't scream, I didn't throw anything. I just sat there and waited. Hours passed. Finally, around midnight, she walked through the door, laughing. Laughing about something on her phone, not even noticing me sitting there in the dark. When she saw me, she froze. The smile slid off her face so fast it was almost funny. Almost. Oh, she said, like she had forgotten I existed. You're home. I didn't say anything, just watched her. She shifted uncomfortably, tucking her phone into her pocket like a kid caught cheating on a test. I'm sorry I'm late, she said. We just lost track of time. You know how it is. I still didn't say anything, and that's when she knew. Her face paled. She looked at the coffee table, saw the slightly shifted laptop, and I saw the panic start to creep in. What's wrong? She asked, too fast, too bright. You're scaring me. I stood up slowly, feeling the weight of everything between us pressing down on my chest. Where are you going in 2 weeks? I asked, my voice low and even. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. Nothing came out. Sam, I said. Her eyes widened. How long have you been planning this? I asked. How long have you been lying to me? Tears sprang into her eyes, real ones maybe, or maybe just another manipulation. I can explain, she said, voice shaking. It's not what you think. Then what is it? I cut her off. Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you've been saving up to leave me for years. I wasn't. It's complicated, she stammered. I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't want to hurt you. I laughed, an ugly, bitter sound. You didn't want to hurt me, I said. So instead you decided to lie to me every day for years? To build a life without me behind my back? She burst into tears then, full-body sobs, sinking down onto the couch like she couldn't hold herself up anymore. "I'm sorry," she choked out. "I'm so sorry. I felt trapped, like I didn't have a choice." "You had a choice," I said, cold and hollow. "You could have talked to me. You could have told me the truth. You chose this instead." We sat there for a long time, her sobbing, me staring at the wreckage of my life. I didn't say much else that night. There wasn't anything left to say. When she finally asked if we could talk about it in the morning, I just nodded. But inside, I knew there was nothing to talk about. Some betrayals you don't come back from. And this was one of them. I didn't sleep that night, not even a minute. I sat there in the dark, listening to her breathing unevenly from the couch. She didn't even try to come to bed. Maybe she knew there wasn't a point. Maybe she was just as scared to face the morning as I was. When the sun finally started creeping through the windows, it didn't feel like a new day. It felt like the end of something I hadn't even realized was dying. I made coffee like I always did. Muscle memory. 2 mugs, even though I knew she wouldn't touch hers. I sat at the kitchen table and waited for her to wake up. Around 7, she stumbled in, eyes red, hair messy, wearing one of my old sweatshirts she had stolen years ago. I used to find that cute. Now it just hurt. She sat down across from me, didn't say anything at first. Just stared at her hands like they held all the answers she couldn't say out loud. "I didn't mean for it to happen like this," she finally whispered. I didn't respond. I didn't trust myself to speak yet. I thought if I could just figure it out quietly, if I could just leave cleanly, it would hurt you less. I laughed, a sharp, bitter sound that made her flinch. "You think lying to me for years was the clean way?" I said. "You think sneaking around, hiding money, planning a life without me, you think that was mercy?" She wiped at her face, smearing mascara she hadn't even bothered to remove the night before. "I wasn't trying to hurt you," she said again. I felt trapped." "Trapped by what?" I asked. "By love? By loyalty? By the fact that we had dreams and plans and promises?" She shook her head, tears dripping onto the table. "It's not that simple." "No," I said, standing up. "It never is." I left her there and went into the bedroom, grabbed a duffel bag and started throwing things in. Clothes, chargers, the basics. I didn't want to be in that apartment anymore, that I didn't want to breathe the same air. She followed me, pleading. "Please," she said. "Can't we just talk about this? Can't we fix it?" I zipped the bag closed and slung it over my shoulder. "There's no we anymore," I said. "You made sure of that." "Where are you going?" she asked, voice cracking. "Somewhere you're not," I said, pushing past her. She tried to block the door, grabbing my arm. "Please don't do this," she begged. "We can go to counseling. We can fix it." I looked at her, really looked at her, and saw the truth plain as day. She didn't want me. She just didn't want to be the bad guy. She didn't want to feel guilty. And that wasn't love. That was fear. That was selfishness. "You didn't want to fix it," I said. "You wanted to escape. You just didn't have the guts to do it clean." I pulled my arm free and left. I drove for hours. No destination. No plan. Just me and the road, and a hollow space where my heart used to be. I ended up at a cheap motel outside the city. Checked in under a fake name. Sat on the edge of the bed staring at the peeling wallpaper and wondering how the hell my life had unraveled so fast. I didn't call anyone. Didn't tell my family. Didn't tell my friends. I just needed time to think. The text started almost immediately. "Please come home. I'm sorry. I love you." Then the voicemails. First tearful. Then angry. Then desperate. I didn't answer. I didn't even listen to most of them. What was there to say? Over the next few days, reality set in. I canceled my portion of the lease, closed our joint bank account, moved my stuff into a tiny one-bedroom apartment closer to work, blocked her on everything after the 100th "please just talk to me" text. I didn't tell her where I went. I didn't owe her that. I owed myself peace. Some mutual friends tried to reach out, wanted to know my side. Some tried to play peacemaker. "She made a mistake," they said. "Everyone deserves a second chance." But they didn't have to live with what she did. They didn't have to wake up every morning knowing the person they loved had been planning to leave them for years. They didn't have to wonder how long they had been living in a lie. So I ignored them all. I chose silence. I chose myself. A few weeks later, I got an email from her. Not a text, not a voicemail. An actual email. She told me she had moved to the other city, the one she had been planning to run to. Said she hoped I was doing okay. Said she still loved me but understood if I hated her. I didn't respond. What could I even say? Good luck building your new life on the ashes of the old one. I let it go, because the truth was, I didn't hate her. I pitied her. She was so afraid of being honest, so terrified of facing discomfort, that she destroyed the one person who would have loved her through anything. She chose fear over loyalty, lies over truth, and in the end, she lost something real. As for me, I'm not okay, not yet, but I'm getting there. I started therapy, joined a gym, adopted a dog from the shelter as a scrappy little mutt who loves me with a kind of pure loyalty I didn't realize I was starving for. Some days the anger still creeps in. Some days I still dream about her. Some days I wonder what I could have done differently. But most days, I wake up, take a deep breath, and realize I survived. And that's enough for now.